It's 4:30 in the morning. A massive oil tanker glides through the Strait of Hormuz. 2 million barrels of crude in its belly. The lights of Iran on one side. The lights of Oman on the other. Then, a flash in the sky. A single Iranian drone slams into the hull. Hours later, American jets are already in the air. By sunrise, southern Iran is burning. Surveillance towers, gone. Air defense radars, gone. Drone storage sites, vaporized. And inside the Pentagon, a quiet line is whispered between officers: the map of Iran's military just changed. But here's the part nobody is talking about. This wasn't just another strike. This was the strike that exposed something Iran has been hiding for months. Something even Tehran didn't want its own people to see. Because what America hit this week wasn't random. It was surgical. It was personal. And it was a message. So what did the US actually destroy? Why is Iran suddenly silent? And what is Donald Trump preparing next? Let's break it down. To understand this moment, you have to rewind to February 28, 2026. That night, the sky over Iran lit up. Nearly 900 strikes. 12 hours. American and Israeli jets tearing through Iranian airspace like it didn't exist. Missile bases. Nuclear sites. Command centers. Generals killed in their beds. It was the opening act of the 2026 Iran war. For months, the fighting raged. Iran fired back with everything it had: ballistic missiles, drone swarms, proxy attacks from Lebanon and Yemen. But each round revealed the same brutal truth. Iran was bleeding. Its air defenses were shattered. Its skies were open. Its top commanders kept dying in pinpoint strikes that should have been impossible. Then on June 17, a ceasefire. A memorandum of understanding between Washington and Tehran. The world exhaled. But the deal had cracks from day one. Iran wanted control of the Strait of Hormuz. America wanted free passage. Both sides walked away believing different things. And in that gap between two interpretations, a new war was already being born. Then came the tanker attacks. And everything everyone thought they knew about the ceasefire collapsed in less than 48 hours. Here's the thing most people miss. Iran's military, on paper, looks terrifying. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers. Thousands of missiles. A Revolutionary Guard with decades of combat experience. A web of proxies stretching from Beirut to Sana'a. But strip away the parades and the propaganda, and a much darker picture appears. Because Iran's real power was never its army. It was its leverage. And that leverage had a name. The Strait of Hormuz. 20% of the world's oil passes through that narrow stretch of water. Tankers, every few minutes, day and night. Squeeze that strait, and gas prices in America explode. Inflation jumps. Markets panic. Presidents lose elections. For decades, that single choke point was Iran's ultimate insurance policy. The reason no U.S. president ever pulled the trigger on a full war. But this week, that insurance policy started to look like a trap. Because every time an Iranian drone hits a tanker, America doesn't back off. It strikes back harder. And each strike chips away at the one thing Iran cannot afford to lose: its ability to control that water. Surveillance posts watching the strait? Hit. Radar systems guiding drones? Hit. Minelayer ships ready to seal the waterway? Hit. Drone warehouses near the port of Sirik? Wiped off the map. This isn't just retaliation. This is America methodically disarming Iran's most important weapon, without firing a single shot at Tehran. And Iran is starting to realize something terrifying. The leverage is gone. Then came Friday night. A Singapore-flagged container ship, the Ever Lovely, was crossing the Strait of Hormuz when a drone slammed into it. No casualties. But the symbolism was loud and clear. Iran was testing the ceasefire. Trump's response was instant. Within hours, CENTCOM jets were screaming over the Persian Gulf. Iranian missile storage. Drone depots. Communication hubs. All hit in coordinated waves. Iran fired back. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps announced strikes on U.S.-linked positions in the Gulf. Bahrain reported a drone attack. The fragile peace cracked open. Then, just when the world thought the dust might settle, Saturday morning, 4:30 a.m. Another tanker. The Kiku. 2 million barrels of oil. Another drone strike. This time, America didn't wait for a debate. A second night of strikes. Heavier. Deeper. Qeshm Island. The village of Tarui. The port of Sirik again. Iranian state media went silent for hours. And then Trump opened Truth Social. His post lit up phones across the planet. It is very possible that they will never learn. There may come a point when we are no longer able to be reasonable, and will be forced to militarily complete the job that we very successfully started. If that happens, the Islamic Republic of Iran will no longer exist. Read that again. Will no longer exist. Not will be punished. Not will pay a price. Erased. That's not a warning. That's a doctrine. And inside Iran's command bunkers, generals are now staring at the same question. Is he bluffing? Or is the next strike not aimed at a radar tower, but at the regime itself? Because the pattern is clear now. Every Iranian provocation triggers an American response twice as heavy. And each response leaves Iran weaker, blinder, and more isolated than the day before. This is where strategy gets interesting. America isn't trying to invade Iran. That would be a disaster. Mountains. 80 million people. A war that could last a decade. Instead, Washington is running a different playbook. Quieter. Smarter. Far more dangerous for Tehran. Step 1, blind them. Take out radars, surveillance towers, listening posts. If Iran can't see the strait, Iran can't control the strait. Step 2, disarm them. Hit drone factories, missile depots, mine-layer ships. Strip away the tools Iran uses to threaten global shipping. Step 3, isolate them. Keep the Strait of Hormuz open with U.S. military escort. Show the world that Iran's biggest threat is just noise. Step 4, pressure the regime. Let oil keep flowing. Let the Iranian economy keep grinding. Let the protests grow. It's not war. It's something colder. It's strangulation by precision. And here's the contrast nobody on cable news is pointing out. It looks like an exchange of strikes between two equal sides. But actually, only one side is choosing the tempo. Only one side is choosing the targets. Only one side gets to decide when this ends. Iran is reacting. America is conducting. The BBC has now identified damage to over 50 Iranian military bases since the war began. Jets destroyed on the ground. Warships crippled in port. An entire generation of Iranian military hardware turned into scrap metal. And the most painful blow? Internal U.S. assessments suggest Iran's nuclear program was set back by years, not weeks, not months. Years. The country that built itself on the threat of the bomb is now further from one than it's been in 2 decades. That's not a military setback. That's a strategic identity crisis. So what comes next? 3 roads. All of them dangerous. The first road, Iran backs down. Lets the tankers pass. Quietly returns to negotiations. Saves the regime. But loses face in front of its own people. Every hardliner in Tehran sees it as surrender. The second road, Iran escalates. Closes the Strait of Hormuz completely. Activates Hezbollah. Hits American bases across the Gulf. Oil prices double overnight. The global economy shakes. And Trump unleashes the kind of strike he's been hinting at on Truth Social. The kind that doesn't target buildings, it targets a government. The third road, the dirty one. A long, slow bleed. Drone hits the tanker every few weeks. American jets respond every few weeks. Neither side declares war. Neither side declares peace. The Middle East just smolders. Forever. Meanwhile, inside Washington, the cracks are showing. The U.S. Congress just passed a war powers resolution telling Trump to ask permission before striking Iran again. He ignored it within days. Lawmakers are now threatening to drag him into court. And inside Iran, a regime that built its identity on resistance is being forced to choose between humiliation and annihilation. There is no good option left on the table. Only the one that hurts least. So here's the question that should keep you up at night. For 40 years, Iran's military was built on one idea, that it was too dangerous to attack. That the Strait of Hormuz was untouchable. That the cost of striking Tehran was too high for any American president to pay. This week, that entire idea died. A single tanker. A single drone. A single response. And the most feared military in the Middle East suddenly looks like something else entirely. A wounded animal, cornered, blinded, running out of moves. The question isn't whether Iran will strike back. It will. The question is whether the men who run Iran finally understand what every satellite photo, every burning radar, every silent airbase has been screaming at them for months now. The rules have changed. The leverage is gone. And the next move might be the last one they ever make.